Arts Center. Welcome to Family Festival Thailand. Thank you so much for coming out today. This is our second performance of the afternoon. We do 3 family festivals a year here, and so this is our second one of the season. Our next family festival will be April 26th, and where we'll be celebrating the culture of Egypt. So just want to let you know that we work with the community for these festivals. So if any of you have any connection to a culture that you want to celebrate, that you know about, if you want to work with me and the Arts Center on helping put this festival together, please come talk to me. I'd love all of your help, suggestions, and all of that. Also, another announcement, we have our Footlights Fine Art Series starting up again in February, and that will start on the 18th and 20th of February, where we are welcoming Taiko Project, which is Japanese drumming and music and dance. There's a lot going on, as you know, always here at the Arts Center, so please make sure you grab a brochure, a newsletter, and come often. Some housekeeping real quick. If anyone has cell phones, please turn them off, silence them, and please refrain from using them during the show. The light's very distracting to the performers. I want to thank a few people and organizations. We want to thank Alliant Energy. We want to thank Lakeland College, Thai Cafe, Toys Restaurant, and I personally want to thank La Wesser. She is a community member here who has worked with me for the last few months, and who I could not have done any of this without her. She is just fantastic. So she's actually going to be performing in the show this afternoon. We are welcoming Thai American Association of Milwaukee. We're going to have some singing, some dancing, some Thai boxing, and I'd like to welcome now Peter Jordan of the Thai American Association of Milwaukee. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. We want to thank, before we get started, the John Michael Kohler Arts Center for inviting us. And as Angela said, La, who will come out and sing for us in a bit, she's our connection here. We wouldn't have known or made the connection without her. So a big thanks to her. My name's Peter. That's a traditional Thai name, of course. We're going to perform some folk dances for you and a couple of folk songs. I told the last group I wasn't going to dance or sing. I ended up doing a little bit of dancing. I don't know how that happened. And in between times when the ladies are changing their costumes, you'll get to listen to me talk about Thailand. And at some point I'll take questions as well. So if you think of something while I'm talking or while the ladies are dancing, or if you saw something in the pictures, hang on to that, and I'll take your questions sort of halfway through. Okay. First thing we're going to do is we're going to start out with the Thai national anthem, and La's going to sing that for us. Sorry. If you all could rise if you're able.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you. Thank you again, Angela. I'm so glad that I stand here to sing the national Thai anthem for you today. ประเทศไทยรวมเลือดเนื้อชาติเชื้อไทยเป็นประชารัฐผ้าไทยของไทยทุกส่วนอยู่ดำรงคงไว้ได้ทั้งมวลด้วยไทยล้วนไม่รักสมัครคีไทยนี่รักสงบแต่ถึงรบไม่ขาดเอกราชจะไม่ให้ใครคมขีสละเลือดทุกหยาดเป็นชาติพรีทะลางประเทศชาติไทยทวีมีชัยชโย Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, La. In Thailand, all the television stations play the national anthem at 6 p.m., 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And my brother-in-law would always tell me, if you hear the national anthem, it's time to close the doors and windows, otherwise the mosquitoes get in. So that's what I think of every time I hear it. Not overly respectful, but I remember it. Thailand as most of you know, is in Southeast Asia. It's a country about 3 times as big as Wisconsin in terms of geographical area. But in that 3 times as much space, they have about 10 times as many people. They have 65 million people. And that means that a lot of the country is a lot like driving through farmland in Wisconsin, but some of the big cities are not very much like our big cities. I know some of you look at Milwaukee and you think, oh, I don't want to drive through there if I don't have to. Bangkok is like that times 8. There's about 8 million people in Bangkok and only 1 million in Milwaukee. Okay, I'm going to tell you a lot more than that as we move along, but the first dance we're going to do is the Rum Sukhothai. And Sukhothai is the name of the first Thai kingdom, ethnic Thai kingdom in about the 13th century. And so this dance is a very, it's a very graceful, courtly dance. It's sort of a dance that you would perform in the presence of the king or the nobles or whatnot. The ladies will start in 1 second, but I'm going to make them stand there just a little bit longer. On their heads, that's sort of the stylized crown. That in the Thai style, it's very different than our Western crowns. And other than that, they're holding a lotus flower, which is important in Buddhism and also in Thai culture. This is the Rum Sukhothai. Thank you, ladies. Since we're talking about Thailand, and all of you are going to experience the folk dances, and you're experiencing the food out there and the crafts, and you're all going to buy airplane tickets to Thailand tomorrow, it's important that you at least be able to say hello, right? So I'm going to say hello, and please repeat after me, okay? Sawadee krap. Sawadee krap. That was pretty good. There's something not quite right. Let's try again. Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap.
It's still not. Can I have just the men? Just the men now. Sawadee krap.
Sawadee krap.
Oh, that's good. That's good. All right, ladies, let's try to do a little better. Listen carefully. Sawadee ka.
Sawadee ka.
There you go. Excellent. Sawadee just is a greeting. That's hello, right? And then krup at the end, or ka for ladies. That's just a sign of adding a little extra respect. When it's translated into English, it's very hard to translate. They tend to translate it as sir or madam. So it's like, hello, sir. Hello, madam. The difference is, in English, we say sir when we are speaking to a man. And we say ma'am or madam when we're speaking to a woman. In Thai, that particle is determined by the gender of the person speaking. So I always say sawadee krap, whether I'm greeting my mother, or I'm greeting my father, or I'm greeting a monk, or a woman, anywhere. So I always say krap, and ladies always say ka. It's just a difference. So sawadee krap, sawadee ka. That'll say hello. The second thing that you need to know is how to say one of the favorite things that Thai people like to hear. Okay, and that is if you say aroi di krap or aroi di ka. Let's try it. Men first. Aroi di krap. And ladies, aroi di ka. Aroi means tasty, and di means good. So aroi di means delicious. And if you tell a Thai person, hey, that was delicious, they're going to be very happy with you, and they may bring you more, which is great. Aroi di krap. Okay, our next dance is called the Rum Wai Crew Muay Thai. Okay, and Muay Thai is Thai boxing. You may have heard of it. It's sort of like regular boxing, except more dangerous. They're allowed to. They put gloves on their hands, but then they're also allowed to use their elbows and knees and feet, none of which have any padding. So I don't. It's not something that I don't think I would be very good at. But the dance is a big part of it. It's a very old. The Thai boxing is a very old tradition in Thailand, and before each match, the boxers come out and they do a ritual dance that is typically longer than the match will be. And it's about Wai Crew. And Wai Crew, Wai is the bow that we do, and that just means paying respect. And Crew is teacher. So it's a dance about paying respects to one's teacher, as well as to the traditions of the sport. And it's very long, as I said, but we're going to have our young folks come out and do just a clip of it. All right? Thank you. That was Kitsa, Fa, and Apisit dancing, or the ritual Thai boxing dance for us. You may have noticed they were wearing headbands that were made from twine, just cotton twine. That type of cotton cord is used in Buddhist ceremonies and sort of pseudo-Buddhist ceremonies in Thailand quite often. It's it's blessed, and then it can be worn in a protective way. Buddhism is quite prevalent in Thailand. Officially, the statistics are something like 95% of people in Thailand would claim Buddhism as their religion. And we're here to talk about all of Thailand, not just Buddhism, but I did want to share one of the traditions that I find particularly that I like quite a lot. And that is that each temple in Thailand supports a monk or two, sometimes 6, depending on the size of the temple. And the life of a monk has in the Thai Buddhist tradition, there's a lot of rules. And one of the rules is that all of their food that they eat must be donated, and it must be donated on the day that it's eaten. Okay? There's some workarounds, but not many. So what happens is, at the bigger, more modern temples, people from the community go to the temple, and they bring food, just like a potluck, right? And they present food to the monks, who then partake what they need, and then there's always a bunch left over. And everyone else, all the lay people, then have just basically a big communal meal. It's a great way to get a very authentic, very diverse Thai meal. Sometimes it's a little spicier than maybe we're used to, but it's good. The other part of the tradition, and I think the part that I like, is in the smaller temples, in the temples that are in an older tradition, the monks will go out from their temple and they will walk through their community each morning, quite early, usually 7 o'clock or before, and they will take their bowls that they have, their special bowls that monks have, and they will walk. And as they walk through the community, people will come to their sort of front yard or front walk, and they will offer food to the monks. And you offer a little bit of food, and then the monk will give you a blessing in return, and it's just how many people start their day. One of the, I mentioned the first dance there that they did was the Sukhothai dance and the Sukhothai kingdom. That was the first sort of cohesive Thai kingdom. And then later on there was the Ayutthaya kingdom. And now we're in a kingdom based in Bangkok, obviously. What's interesting about those kingdoms is that Thailand and the Thai people for 1,000 years or so have been in that spot that they're in what we would call Thailand today. But they've always had sort of bigger, stronger neighbors for a lot of that time. So when the Sukhothai kingdom formed in sort of north-central Thailand, the Khmer kingdom in Cambodia, an empire really at that point, was the big dog on the block, right? And so the Thai had to fight against them quite a lot. Later on, then the Ayutthaya kingdom came into power, and at that point the Burmese were the big power. And then later on, we get into the more modern era, and we have the colonial powers coming in, the French and the British. And Thailand stands with some pride as the only country in Southeast Asia that was not colonized by a European power. Part of the reason is they were pretty accomplished at sort of playing those big neighbors off. So they had the French on the east with Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam, and they had the British in Burma and Malaysia on the west and south, and they made treaties on both sides and sort of said, hey, if you French come and take us, the British are going to come in, and they played them and kept a buffer between the two. The plus side of that is the bigger picture, and that is that you have India on the west, which is a great cultural icon, right? And then you have China to the east and northeast of Thailand, and Thailand sits there, all of Southeast Asia sits there in between. And so they've been able to absorb culture from both of those sort of behemoths. And we see it in the language, we see it in the religion, we see it in textiles and clothing, and we see it in food, most of all to the benefit of all of us. We talked about Thai language. We did Sawadee Krap and Aroy D Krap and Ka. I lived in Thailand for 3 years, and I would like to say that I can speak Thai. That would not be true. Okay, I speak about as well as a 4-year-old, maybe a 5-year-old. I can kind of sound out words if I'm reading them. I can't really spell anything. It turns out that Thai is fairly difficult for people with a name like Peter. Part of that is that they have 46 letters instead of ours. We have 23, 26, can't remember. And they also, that's just the consonants. And then the vowels are separate, and they have 12 or 15 of those. That's okay. I can handle that. But then, in addition to the consonants and the vowels, they have 4 tone markings that can go on a word. Okay, and if there's no tone marking, then it's just a flat tone and it's normal speech. And then if there's a little mark, and then it's a high tone, and that word, for whatever reason, would be higher sound. And then there's a low tone, and there's a rising tone, and there's a falling tone. And I'm terrible at them. I can't get them right, and I struggled, and I still work at it. And fortunately, Thai people are bright and generous, and when I say, I was riding the dog, they know that I mean I was riding the horse. It's ma. I don't know which is which. I can't ever remember. I spent 3 years in Thailand, as I said, and the whole time I would have to tell people, somebody would ask me, how far is it, or the nearest telephone booth, where is it? And I'd say, well, it's just you go down here and you turn left. And they'd say, well, how far is it? The answer is it's not far, or it's near. The word for near is glai. And the word for far is glai. Yeah, so I spent, as I said, 3 years telling people the nearest phone booth, you go down, you turn left, it's 127 meters. And they would look at me, okay, thanks, buddy. I couldn't help it. I couldn't tell the difference between the 2 words. It was terrible. All set. Okay, good. Our next dance is going to be the Phon Malai dance. Okay. Phon is a type of dance. It's a smooth and graceful dance, as you will see. Malai is the small flower wreath that the ladies have in their hands. It would be used in this dance. It's also given to people in greeting for special events. And in Thailand, they're made from real flowers, typically jasmine and roses, and they smell wonderful. The Phon Malai. Thank you, ladies. One of the things that is interesting, I think, to the Western ear when listening to Thai music is it does sound a little different than what we're used to. And I don't have a great ear myself, so I have to just read about it and trust that other people know what they're talking about. Thai music, or Western classical music, we have a scale that's based on 8 notes in an octave, right? And then there's sharps and flats, and so we have 12 jumps in the octave. In Thai classical music, it's 7. They don't have the sharps and flats that we have. So they never quite line up with ours, right? 12 and 7, they just don't fit very well. And so a lot of times it seems a little off to me, at least. But it's something that it's just totally different. And I think I was probably just a little younger than I am now before I found that out. Speaking of which, oh great, we're going to have La sing a couple of folk songs for us. And I told the group at noon, we had a performance then, that I would try to translate, and I did horribly. So I'm not going to tell you that. Hi, La. Go ahead.
Thank you, Peter.พอเข้าในเมืองชื่อชกเฟืองเลืองลือเป็นดาราหน้าปกหนังสือถ้าเปลี่ยนชื่อเป็นแววดาวแววดาวเรืองชักเรื่องรองแมวจ้องแมวมองความหุดทองแผลวจากภาพไม่ทันดังได้ถ่ายมาถ่ายไปท้องก็ใหญ่ขึ้นมานางดาวเรืองหรือนางแววดาวสิ้นสดหมดสาวกลายเป็นข่าวกลับนางดาวเรืองโดนไอ้หนุ่มแซวมา จังเฮ้ยเสียดายจัง
Thank you, Bob. Now we're going to do a little bit of audience participation, but just sit there and relax. We'll grab you when we want you. La's going to come out in a minute with a couple of our other dancers, and we're going to do what's called rum wong, which just means like circle dance. It's fairly traditional, big parties and things. And all you really need to know is this. If you take your hand and you bend your fingers kind of as straight up as you can, and if you're a good Thai classical dancer, your fingers go way back. I'm not, so mine don't. And then you just swing your hand around, and you bring your fingers together, and then you're inside. And then you're outside. And then you're inside. And then, that's it. That's it. And a little shuffle. You do a little shuffle, too. Okay? You can. I think you can. Did I promise you I wasn't going to dance? I can't remember. Thank you so much. In a moment, we're going to do our last dance for you, but I think they're probably still making their costume change. And so I'd like to open it up now if you have any questions. I will do my best to answer, and if I can't, I'll probably just make something up. Any questions? Yes?
Does your country have a president or
Go ahead.
I just wondered about that. Is there a
The government?
or
The government system?
Yeah.
Sure. Thailand is a constitutional monarchy, meaning it's set up almost exactly like England, like the United Kingdom. So there's a king who is currently quite old. He's 87, I think, or will be 87 this year, and he's been king for 68 years. So he's going for like the record as longest longest ruling monarch ever. They have a parliamentary system, so it's a little different than ours. They have members of parliament, and they have a prime minister elected from that group. If you've paid attention to the news lately, there's not all Thai people are happy with the current government, and so there's some protests going on. And I don't know how that's going to turn out, but it's not the first time. So, and ma'am, I'm sorry. You
asking about climate.
General climate, that's excellent. I have a joke about that, actually. Let's see. I pulled out my phone and I said, oh, look at that. Thank you guys for coming out today. I see it's 63 degrees. That's pretty nice. And then I flip it a little bit and, yeah, it's 13 degrees here. Thailand is very tropical. Okay, I lived there for 3 years, and my wife always told me, she tells me now, she's like, oh, it gets cold. It does. It gets cold. I never wore a sweater. I just, I was not even happy in a long sleeve shirt if I could avoid it. The nice thing about being tropical is they get to grow all the great things that we import. So you eat mangoes and pineapple and wonderful things like that anytime you want, which is fabulous. Yes, sir.
It doesn't snow there, and the cold, it always sometimes get cold in the town, and it doesn't snow.
That is true.
Ever.
I have heard, again, my wife tells me, that it has snowed at some point in the past, just a tiny bit. But I've never seen it, so you're right. It definitely does not snow.
Is the war still going on?
Is the war still going on?
Yeah.
Currently, there's no active war in Thailand, as far as I know. They do sometimes have trouble, like we all do, getting along with our neighbors and things. So they have little. Cambodia is a great example because Cambodia is right next to Thailand, and they have at times had some skirmishes. And there is a temple, an old Khmer ruin, actually, that's in Cambodia. But you can only access it from a road in Thailand. And so there have been a lot of sort of arguments about that, who really owns it. Yes, sir.
Yes, is Thailand proactive in being green?
The simple answer is probably not. In the sense that I think they're still in a situation where they feel like, I think we've heard many of the developing nations saying, hey, we'll do that when we catch up. And so at this point, I think people are excited to drive cars and consume as much as they can. Yes?
Is it true that most of those Asian countries around there have more millionaires than the United States? They have more wealth?
I would say, well, I guess the question would be as a percentage or as an absolute number, right? As an absolute number, clearly not. As a percentage, it is an issue. They have some of the similar issues that we keep hearing about of wealth distribution problems. That's one of the issues that the protesters are unhappy with. They feel like the current prime minister is the sister of the former prime minister, who is fabulously wealthy, and he made his money through his cell phones. I was in Thailand in 97 through 2000. Okay, and at that point, if you wanted to get a landline to your house, there was a 6-month to a year wait. It was this really long wait, and it was expensive, and it was difficult, and Shinawat and some others, that was his name, decided, hey, what about cell phones? I mean, that's super easy. And they went from 1997 to like 1% of people having cell phones to 2000. In the 3 years I was there, probably 50% had cell phones, and now I'm sure, it's like here, everybody has 2 or 3 cell phones. So, it's crazy. Yes?
What was that topic of the second folk song that had that really interesting twist at the end?
Oh, but you have to ask that one. The first one I know. The second one, I'll hit the first one. I'll kind of avoid the question and I'll come back to it a little bit. The first one is Dao Ruang, Dao Roy. And Dao means star, but it's also a common girl's name. And it's about, I think, Okay, I could be a little wrong, but it's about, I think, a young lady who's sort of a rube, from the countryside. She comes into the big city and gets caught up in the big city stuff. And the second one, the general thing of the song, I'm not exactly sure. La, do you want to take that?
Yes, what?
What was the second song that you sang? What was it about?
It's a man in my last dream.
Okay.
She dreamed something about a man
And what does the siadai, what does that mean?
that means, I miss it. Because she dreamed that a man give her a hug and kissing. Then just like, I'm sorry.
It's a love song.
Like that, and then like that song.
Yeah.
He missed that.
You find out 95% of Thai folk songs are love songs. But okay, there we go. Great. Yes, sir. Does anyone surf? The funny thing is, somebody talked to me about that a little while ago. I don't think that there's a lot of surfing in Thailand. The coastline is beautiful, and the beaches are awesome, but they don't necessarily have a lot of big waves because it's pretty well protected. I do see a lot of people windsurfing, and I see people jet skiing, and I see people doing like that where they have the parachute behind a boat and they go way up in the air. I'm not doing that, but I see other people doing that. So yeah. Well said. All right, our last dance is going to be the Sung Pong Lang, it's called. Pong Lang is a xylophone, a type of xylophone, a wooden xylophone that is a traditional instrument. And if you listen, it's kind of, you'll hear it in the music, it sounds like a wooden xylophone. Thank you, ladies. One more time. I do want to point out that the young lady in blue, and then the second lady in, that's Tipawan and Tiara, her daughter, a mother-daughter team, which is nice. Apinya, the third lady in is my wife, and Tukta here. Both Tukta and Apinya both have sons who have danced with our boxing group. So since they have sons, they have to push them a little harder. Thank you. Thank you for coming out today. If there's kids, let's all watch this. Can we get in line? See how you move your hands? Get started at very well for that. Follow me. Follow me. Put your hands up. Now, we're going to try to stretch our fingers, tag back as far as we can, and we swing them forward. Put them together. Swing back out. Swing that way. Oops, I didn't do it right, did I? Fingers out. Fingers in. I promised I wasn't going to do